All right, I wanted to make a video about Clan Boss because I think Clan Boss is one of the most important early game things to tackle for sure, and the rewards there are very good. Now, if you're just starting Raid Shadow Legends, I want to say that there can be a lot to look at. There's a lot going on, and initially I want to say that the missions, which is right behind me right here, it's going to be the best place to start with the Arbiter missions. If you go through the missions on a daily basis, in addition to your daily quests and things like that, you'll make it through the game. It's kind of like a soft tutorial. And then it becomes this convoluted thing about where to go. You know, I think you go through, you know, the campaign missions, try to push as far as you can in the campaign. And then I think the best place to focus is going to be in the clan bosses for sure. Demon Lord, and then I think Chimera, which strangely enough for me is easier to tackle than Hydra. Hydra is a whole nother mess, and when I figure out Hydra, I'll make a video about that, because essentially it requires 3 teams of 6, like 18 characters to optimize your points. For Demon Lord, clan boss, is 1 team of 5. Before we get into that, there's a link in the description to download Raid Shadow Legends, or you can scan the QR code up there. You're going to get a legendary character, Karuto, and then you're going to get Ugo when you get level 15, which should be in the same day. More importantly than that, you want to use the promo code in the first 24 hours. First 24 hours of playing the game, Monkey King, one word, and you get Sun Wukong. You can only do 1 promo code a day, and the very first one in the first 24 hours is Monkey King. And I think also this event might be ending soon, is to get 7-day login to get Alice the Wanderer. So let's get into Demon Lord. And I just gotta say, this is a bonkers place for resources, and the way that it works is there's all these different difficulties, and the hardest is going to be Ultra Nightmare. And the rewards you get are going to be based off the damage. So like in the very earliest one, if you get over 1.15 million damage, you get a chest. You'll get a single warrior chest. Now you'll get 2 chests if your alliance defeats the entire thing. So you can see right here, you know, these guys right here will be getting 2 of those chests. So you're going to get keys throughout the day. You can see you have 2 keys. You can only, it caps out at 2 keys unless you buy keys, or if a special event gives you bonus keys. But just through daily accrual, you're going to get 2 keys, and they pop up during the day. I typically don't want to leave it at 2, so we're going to use them here. And then once you get past the hardest difficulty on, let's say, this particular level, once you've done more than 1.15 million damage, you're given the opportunity to essentially sim it. There's this quick battle box, which will have a lock symbol if you've not done that, but once it is there, then you can hit the button and it essentially just runs the battle automatically. Now, I want to go over the rewards. So like Brutal, I believe on Brutal and Nightmare, my alliance were able to full clear the node and got to that purple area. So you see that I've got ×2, and I'm finding that I get gear. The gear's okay, but these brews are important. And what I'm finding now that I'm doing better inside of Clan Boss is that when I have like a champion training event, I can use these brews to get through the event. I'm not having to farm 12-3 in campaign to level up characters like I used to. I'm almost getting enough of these brews from the Clan Boss to get what I need done. I've not entirely eliminated campaign farming, but mostly I'm not campaign farming anymore, which was my primary way of getting silver and experience for leveling up my characters. Now I'm leaning more into these brews. So that was the first chest, and I got a piece of gear. Fine. And there's good gear in here. I mean, I've made good use out of these cruel sets. That one has speed. I will upgrade that, right? Because it's a speed set, right? There we go. Or a speed in the subset, the substat. Again, these are upgrade potions to ascend. We got some gems. Not too terrible. And so this is for, that was for the brutal, you know, max key double chest. Nightmare, same thing. I'm going to get right here, ultimate chest ×2. I'm getting like shards out of these epic books, all kinds of great stuff. Look at that, an ancient shard. Yeah, I'll take it. Ancient shard, it's got some value. I mean, if I was looking to purchase ancient shards inside the store, you know, typically I'm thinking that they're worth about $1 a piece if I wanted to purchase them. Again, more brews, right? And then a piece of gear. Crit damage, yeah. That's great. That's a great piece of gear. Now, the thing that is not great about this Immortal set, though, is that it's an HP one, and this is kind of a damage dealer, but crit damage on a glove with speed and HP, and this is great. This is, yes. Great gear, right? Okay, great gear. And then I'll get the other one. See, look at this, a legendary book. This is why it's an important thing. Oh my God. I think those, if I was gonna wanna buy them, you know, I'm trying to buy those at like $5 a piece, right? That's fine. Speed, crit rate, this stuff is great. All right, claim that. And then Ultra Nightmare. Now, this is where the real challenge is an Ultra Nightmare. And I'm gonna talk about the team that I'm using and why it worked and how I was able to get past the threshold of 70 million. 0.28. I know the actual exact number because it's a hassle. Right now, my alliance is not able to finish all of it, so I am only getting one chest a day, even though I'm getting past the threshold. But when we get more players, and I think we got 4 or 5 people participating in this that are getting about 100 million, we're gonna need about 10 people. 10 people out of the 25 to do this. I usually am chipping in about 120 million. I know that other members will do quite a bit more if we're close, because double chests here, and this is just because I got a brand new alliance, right? I started an alliance when I started the game, but seasoned alliance are gonna have a lot of players in here, and I can't wait for our alliance to grow to the place where we're getting double rewards in Ultra Nightmare. Let's claim this, see what I got. I don't think I can beat that last one. Again, look at this, all of this stuff, potions right here, piece of gear. That's great. I mean, these are great pieces right here. I mean, it'd be better if it was 6, but still, there's nothing wrong with any speed stat on an epic. I think that's great. I'm sure as time goes on, I'm only gonna want 6s, and that's fine. Ancient Shards. So this is a significant part of my resources on a daily basis. So how did I get a team? So like when I go in here, you can see I've got the box right there, and that's because on one random day, I was able to get over this 70 million to 8. And I did it kind of the hard way. I'm using a brute force stat-based team, speed-based team that is fast and does damage and so on, where a lot of other people are doing some sort of speed tune with a character that protects the team, and the battles can go on for many turns to the very end. And that requires very specific speed tuning. So I'm gonna give an example of that. There's a character that I just pulled the other day, and her name is Demithia, and she is an epic void character. So she's not a legendary, she's an epic, still somewhat hard to get. You know, void characters are only come out of the void shards, right? She has this place block damage buff on allies for 1 turn, and a 15% continuous heal buff on allies for 2 turns. And then, you know, when she's fully booked out, this is a 3 turn, and it's all about getting this to go off and then to extend it so that this block damage buff is up always. And typically the way that looks is that everybody has to be at a very specific speed in turn order, based off the clan boss and what the clan boss is doing. And then you can go all the way to the end with the maximum amount of turns, which I believe is 1,500 turns. And then you get crazy amounts of damage. So maybe it's like 4 supports to get the combo to work, and then 1 character like Geomancer to do the damage. That's one way of doing it. That's not the way I did it. The way that I did it, and I gotta say that I don't think there is necessarily a prescriptive way of doing it, other than if you have one of these characters like Demithia. It's kind of like about tweaking your own team and playing with it. I think that since I started playing Raid Shadow Legends over the last, I don't know, I guess we're going on 7-8 months, I have had a dozen different versions of my clan boss team, and I'm super glad to be able to sim it, because it was taking me 20 minutes per run, you know, on auto. Yeah, I'd set it down and walk away, but that's almost 40 minutes a day or more, just letting it run. And the way that I did that is I did use Hell Hades, and there is a tool that links to the PC. And I think there's two ways you can do this. You can go into Hell Hades and look at your individual characters and see how good they are. For example, you can see right there, that is a 5-star rating on Clan Boss. She's very good on Clan Boss because of that trick that I just described. You know, that's a speed 2 team. And what I mean is everybody's at a specific speed going for a specific turn meter. That's not the way I did it, but I did use the optimization tool. There's a artifact optimizer, and strangely enough, I'm not using that for this specific, but you know, with the PC client, I run the artifact extracting tool. I upload all of my account data to their website, and Hell Hades has a tier list, which is up at any given time based off of the individual tier ratings of every character. But I can hit this button once I've synced it with the optimizer tool to show my champs, and then I could sort right here, and you can see that I've got all of my characters. These are characters in my roster. It's not just every character in the game, but characters that I actually have. And then I can sort by clan boss, and I can see what characters do well. Some of these characters are good in many different places in the game, and some of them require specific builds to be very good in this mode. So it did require some research. So like Man-Eater's at the top, right? Clan boss. And he has a good overall rating. And I'm finding that Man-Eater specifically has that unkillable mechanic right here. Champion receives damage and places unkillable debuff and a block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. So this is the same thing, getting this ability out, using him and maybe 3 other characters to extend this so that it's up always is a trick. And then having 1 character left for damage, and it requires a very specific speed tune. The other thing, and that's not what I did. I was like, I didn't have the accompanying characters to make this work. You know, I got on the internet, and I was like, oh, I need to have multiple pain keepers. Well, I've only got 1 now. At the time, I only had 1. But if I had 2 or 3 pain keepers, which they reset the cooldown so that this can be going off every turn, you get the idea, right? I didn't do that. I focused on the characters that were just like raw characters that were good in multiple game modes. And you can see I've got a ton of them that have 5s, but some of them are more useful in multiple places. So I focused on them, and I needed a leader, and the leader that I'm using is Razzlevarg. I could have also used Deacon Armstrong. Essentially, there's a lot of overlap between these 2 characters, but just for simplicity, we'll just say it was like Deacon Armstrong, right? So I knew that he was a good character for this game mode. You know, he speeds up the team, and he goes in the leadership, and he gives, increase ally speed in all allies by 20%, but Deacon Armstrong does something similar. I think it's 19%. He has some turn meter manipulation. He puts defense down on the clan boss, and then he also puts a leech thing. Well, I was finding that he does the leech. He gives speed up to the team, and the speed up is really cool because then he goes, well, it's very specific to him, right? And I know my character. And then I started noticing combos, and the combos manifested in different ways. It's like, oh, I've got Mitch right here, which has a combo with Mad Hatter with the Hex and putting out the Hex all the time. And Mitch right here is doing all kinds of cool things. I'm putting negative effects on the clan boss, and he's fulfilling all the negative effects over there. I got to get, you know, all the negative effects going on over there, and then I'm good. And then he is extending the positive effects. Wow, and that works well with him. And then with all those negative effects out there, Whisper is a damage dealer that does multiple hits if she, you know, on her ultimate, if she fulfills certain conditions on negative effects on the clan boss. So what I'm saying is I tweaked it. I thought of it. I came up with it. And just by like starting place was realizing what characters did well and then finding the gaps. Now, the biggest gap I had on my particular roster was some sort of reviver, and then also being able to put defense up on the team and so on. And if you look, she's not really like high up on this list, right? You know, she is a bit down. Where is she? We're looking for Ursula, right? Ursula is a good character, but not necessarily inside of this game. I'm gonna hit Control F here. Control F, let's see, click here, Control F. Ursula right here. So you can see overall she's a 4, clan boss is 4, but that's what I needed. And if I found a replacement character, some sort of support character that did a similar thing that performed better, but it wasn't that I just took in all the 5s and it was fine. Now I had to kind of come up with my own team. And now, well, I'm gonna do a sim. Now I'm like, okay, I want to tweak this a little bit. Maybe I can find a team that does better, because what's happening now today for me is I hit the button right here, which saves me a bunch of time, and I'm gonna get like 65 million, let's say, or 59 million. Okay, 58 million. Now this is a problem kind of, because I'm gonna have to do that twice, because it has to be over that 70 million number, which I have successfully done one time, to get the rewards. So I'm having to use 2 keys, where like if I look at some of my alliance mates here, they're able to use 1 key. See, both of these numbers right here are over the max reward number, which is 70.28 damage. So I really need to come up with a better team, even though now I can do it 2 keys, which saves a lot of time, but I need to develop a different strategy. I might have to go that Maneater Demithia route, where I speed tune a team around those characters to keep their buffs up, because that's the thing about Demon Lord, is you kind of, he doesn't restrict your team much on what they're doing. Yeah, he does place a stun out there every once in a while, but it really is about getting positive effects on your team and extending them and keeping them up, especially if you have some way of not receiving damage or blocking damage. And if you could extend that all the way out to turn, well, you could see, I think some people are getting to 49 or 50. For me, I was only getting to like turn 29. And that's how these big boy damages are being done right here, with some sort of trick like that. We can see there's a Painkeeper with double man-eaters, right? And so that is a speed tune. I'm guessing that these are set up, this is set up in a way where these characters at this point are just used for this single mode. So I'm gonna try something different. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I was thinking about taking out Whisper and just throwing in my Geomancer, and just to see what it does. Like, I wonder, because I've recently upgraded my Geomancer, and I was testing it before, and Geomancer wasn't doing more damage than Whisper, but I was noticing that Whisper was squishy and dying off, and Geomancer is not squishy. And Geomancer also has an ability on there where he's reducing, I believe, I have to go back and look at exactly how it's worded, but it's like 15% of AoE damage. Well, let's see here, I just pulled it up right here. His passive does something with 15%, decreases the damage of allies received by 15%, and deflects that damage onto each enemy under a 15% HP burn. So this is protecting the team. Whisper was often one of the first ones to die off. Sometimes, and the rabbit was as well. So I'm gonna try it, and if this is over 58 million, maybe this will be my new clan boss team, right? And I feel like this is a fun way of tweaking it, and if I can get this number over 70 million consistent, now I see 60 million, similar number, right? And you can see that I was finding that the damage on Geomancer was kind of low. you know, if I can find a, you know, most of my damage is coming from Mitch and Razel, and I think that Whisper was doing something similar. So, I mean, for me to move this forward, you know, maybe I've got to find a character that does something similar that Mad Hatter does, which is like a soft heal. He extends the positive effects on the team. He reduces the negative effects if there are any. Sometimes there is. Or if I had a reviver that did more damage, or if I had a character that did this that did more damage, then, you know, they're up for removal, their replacement. And because I definitely want to be able to one key this, because the rewards are bonkers. Clan boss, clan boss, clan boss, clan boss, clan boss, clan boss. And two things before I wrap it up. Yeah, I had to really max out the gear on these guys. If I go in individually and look, these guys pretty much have the best gear in my account on those characters. And sometimes that gear was not enough. And I needed to really push the upper limits of my gear to make it work. I'll give you an example. You could see that they're all at 16. And where I was getting the value to push it over the top was ascending them. You know, you know, this is with the pinks, which requires doing what this right here is for the Phantom, Shogun, the horse guy. I don't remember. And then these ones up here require doing the Sand Devil, which is really hard. It's really hard. So, it took me a minute, and I think it would have been, I could have gotten there. I did the brute force route, where I probably could have done some sort of, you know, loop, if you will, with Man Eater or Demithia, would have probably been the easier. So go to Hell Hades, you know, sort through your roster, find who's good in Clan Boss. There are some accuracy numbers that need to be mindful of for the negative effects to stick on the Clan Boss. It's over 200 but under 300. That might be something also that's worth researching, is what are the accuracy requirements for the negative effects to stick on the hardest level. And then the other thing that helped me quite a bit is there is an arena buff for live arena. You can go into the area bonuses, and I had to go in here to Dragon's Lair and start upgrading them quite a bit. And I might continue to do that. You know, Demon Lord Batter. I misspoke. Not Dragon's Lair. That's one of the dungeons. We're talking about the Demon Lord. And you can see I've upgraded a lot of them. But that may be the solution right there, is just, you know, maybe I need to like upgrade this a little bit. You know, get extra speed. You know, give everybody on my team 2 extra speed. Might be enough to get my damage over the top. And then I can also focus on the regular infinity bonuses. So if you haven't done so already, there's a link in the description, or scan the QR code here on the screen. You're going to start off your account right with legendary character Karuto, and then you're going to get Ugo, who's also very amazing, and then Sun Wukong by using the promo code Monkey King. If you're on iOS, you might have to do this on the website. I don't think you can do that in game on iOS. And then also logging in for 7 days will get you Alice. So essentially 3 legendaries and 1 epic right out of the gate is a good way to start the game. Bye for now.